A war between Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar does not seem to be ending. Now, a day after Congress President Kharge wrote in his letter that he was firmly in favor of dialogue and discussion, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has said in response that he was repeatedly rebuffed by Kharge, who earlier rejected his offers of interaction. In fact, Dhankar also said that during the entire session, despite his repeated requests in the House and by the way of written communications to secure Kharge's indulgence for interaction, the same did not fructify. To understand this letter war, VP Dhankar has invited Congress President Kharge tomorrow to discuss the ongoing conflict and to look now ahead at what can possibly take place, hopefully, in the next session of Parliament. Joining us at this point is Gautam Seth, Congress spokesperson. We also have Vineet Goenka, political analyst, joining us live. P.K.D. Nambiar, political analyst, is also live with us on the broadcast. Manasvi Thapar, political analyst, joins us live as well. Welcome all of you and thank you for being with us today. Let me begin with you first, Gautam Seth, on what is likely now to be the latest response to Vice President Dhankar's letter. He obviously says that it is untrue to say that he did not create a space for dialogue in Parliament. He said there were enough outreaches both inside the House and outside, but there was no response from the Congress or no earnest effort to have dialogue. He's now called Mallikarjun Kharge tomorrow. Will that meeting now fructify? Will there be, some sort of progress in looking ahead and how to look at a middle ground?
You see, the Congress has always been interested and the Congress has always been focused on making sure that the Parliament discusses issues of public welfare. We have tried our best. We have expected this from the government, but merely some eyewash kind of efforts, merely media management and eyewash kind of efforts won't help. When you suspend unprecedented number of members of parliaments and when you pass bills like IPC, the Home Minister, announces it, passes it and says that itihas ban gaya hai, and you are doing it without those 156 odd MPs which are being suspended from the parliament. Now my question is, does the Bharatiya Janata Party believe in a one-party system? Does the Bharatiya Janata Party totally undermine the role of an opposition in a democracy? That is the question that is here. That is the question that must be asked. The opposition is doing its work. When Congress was in power, महंगाई हुई, something would happen, rates would go up. Sushma Swaraj ji, Smriti Irani ji would take the parliament on their heads, hit from the roads to the parliament, and it was their right to do so. They did nothing wrong in that. They should have done it because they were in the opposition then. Today, the Congress is in the opposition. It's the Congress's duty to, highlight the anti-people policies of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And if we try to do that, we are thrown out of the parliament. Now, this is what you call a dictatorial rule in the garb of democracy. A camouflaged dictator is running this country who is sitting on the chair of the Prime Minister, but in reality is a camouflaged dictator.
But you haven't answered my question. Will Mallikarjun Kharge go for that meeting tomorrow? Will there be some attempts at a breakthrough? Will there be some attempts at a common ground?
You see, the Congress would always want a breakthrough to come. The Congress would always
because
want
this is an outreach by the Vice President of India, not any political figure. It's an outreach by a constitutional figure.
I absolutely respect the constitutional office that Jagdeep Dhankar ji holds, but I also respected Jagdeep Dhankar ji. He is the Vice President of India. With all respect to him, that it is a chair that should not be politicized, and the way the chair has been politicized in recent days is a matter of shame for the constitutional framework that, the power that's been given to that chair. Okay. And yes, of course, let me answer your question also. Of course, the Congress is looking forward for conversation. The Congress is looking forward for a discussion. Okay. And you will have the reply from the Congress.
Okay, the Congress is looking forward to a constructive dialogue and a discussion, hopefully, says Gautam. Vineet Goenka, your response. Although the Congress spokesperson has in his statement just now leveled allegations at the Prime Minister and also said that the Vice President should not behave in a political manner.
Udayji, Ram Ram to you, Ram Ram to my co-panelists and all the viewers who are watching me. Thank you for inviting me to your studio. It's a lovely studio here today. There is a saying in Marathi, with your permission, I'll tell that. Dev deta karma neta. Means the God gives you, but your deeds take it away from you. Getting elected as a member of parliament in the upper house or the lower house, the Rajya Sabha, the Lok Sabha of this great nation itself is a pride and a destiny, which very, very few people could have. And when you are elected as a member of parliament, you are expected to participate in the discussion, especially on important bills like BNS. But somebody who decides to not participate, create ruckus, hooliganism, and show that he does not have any inputs on that bills is an unfortunate part. They have missed the opportunity to participate. I'm sure they could have contributed in the history making, they could have contributed in the bill, something or the else. I think the entire country has seen this. They would not forgive Congress and their hooliganisms and the way they have behaved in the house, outside the house, especially by demeaning the constitutional positions of Vice President. Furthermore, they have hurt the sentiments of the citizens by denying a conversation with the Vice President. I would request through your channel and also through the spokesperson of Congress to Honorable Kharge ji that he should participate in conversation, he should go and meet the Vice President and also apologize for the behavior done by his men and his party men inside the house and outside the house. Because this India will not tolerate, they will not forgive this kind of behavior, whether it is inside the house or outside the house. They have been elected to participate. The entire behavior of Congress was to demonstrate bankruptcy of their brain, bankruptcy of their thoughts, bankruptcy of policy inputs which they have. So probably they had an opportunity which they have missed, but at least now Mr. Kharge can go and apologize to the Vice President.
Okay, let me in fact take that across to PKD Nambiar as well. PKD Nambiar, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've just lost his connection, unfortunately. Manasvi Thapar, come in here. You can, of course, respond to Vineet, who says that it's unfortunate how the Congress has behaved with the Vice President, not just through this entire war of words in these letters, but also through the mimicry episode, also through the ruckus created throughout this session where we have seen multiple suspensions as well. Manasvi Thapar, is this an all-time low? Is this a complete breakdown of communication between opposition and government, and also unfortunately efforts by Speaker and Vice Chairman Rajya Sabha failing to fructify into any constructive dialogue either?
I think yes. When you say this is the all-time low, I would agree, and I also believe in my parliamentarians that they can create a new low also. There's no doubt about it. Since multiple years, what we have seen is there is a everyday new law in our parliament. Every day there's a new disgrace which happens in the temple of democracy, and it happens from both the ways. One is creating a mimicry of the Vice President, that's low, and other is creating a mockery of democracy by not letting the opposition talk, by getting into a discourse. This is unprecedented. When a country as strong as India, and which is said as the mother of all the democracies, which is the largest democracy of the world, and what we have to as the Vishwa Guru show to the world in terms of democracy, that opposition and the people in power don't gel together. They don't discuss on bills. They don't discuss on how the future of this country is going to function. There is a complete blockage between both of them. There is no discourse happening. There is no discussion happening. And how a democracy can fruitfully have exchange of words when people in power and people in opposition don't create bills which are for the country, which are for the people of this nation. When you suspend 140 plus MPs, you don't suspend 140 plus heads, you suspend 140 MPs vote share, 140 plus MPs voice of their own regions. So that is the suspension. They don't have the ground of voice anymore. And when you create a mockery of the Vice President, he is not just Mr. Dhankar, he is the Vice President of India, the second most important position of this country. And you have to stand tall, not for your party, not for your leaders, but for this great nation. And this is not how the democracy should function. And when Viniji says apology, yes, opposition should apologize to the Vice President. Also, the Vice President should apologize for suspending the opposition without any candid reason. Why can't we say, when he says spade is a spade, yes, there are spades in the BJP also which are not suspended, and there are not spades in opposition who wanted to make a point, have not been given the chance to make a point. There is no understanding of how to function in a democracy, in a parliament, which these leaders are. Look into our history. Look at the first parliament. Look at our parliamentary debates. Look at our constituent assembly debates. Look at the discourse right now. what are we going to present to our future generation? That if you want to be a parliament, if you want to be into parliament, what you need to do is create a ruckus. This is your mandate. This is the hooliganism we are trying to promote in our country. No, the country is going to reject it. We need to have positive dialogues. We have to have debates on bills which are being passed for the future of this nation. This should not be tolerated. I feel that both the people in opposition and people in power should come for the nation together to discuss. Discussion is very essential. It's the basics of democracy, and I expect this more from BJP. Why? And there is logic to my why also, because they have been into opposition in their life entirety. Every time they have come, since Jansan till 2014, this kind of power they have not enjoyed. They know what is struggle. They know what is opposition. They know the importance of opposition. They have.
Vinit Goenka responding to you. Vinit.
I think probably we have to see it objectively and see the behavior of the opposition which is happening in the many sessions of the parliament, especially the last session which happened now, the winter session. They've used the tool of protest as a weapon. And when you weaponize the tool of protest by not allowing the house to go through the normal process of discussion, then I think strict measures have to be taken, and the citizens of country welcome this suspension, because we could see that on the television thanks to the transparent broadcast which happens with the entire proceedings which are going on there in both the houses. People like me who follow the policy and who follow these proceedings every day, we feel let down when we see opposition behaving in such a fashion. They could have protested by keeping their voice when their opportunity was there. They could have done this by coming to television studios. They could have sat outside at the Mahatma Gandhi's statue and protested. They could have even given, written what we called in Hindi as Gyapan to the Vice President. But the way they behaved inside the house, rushing to the well, creating things, then the chair is forced to take the name of the member. He took all the courts which were there in the hand, temporarily, asking the members to go out, to reconvene the session. Then he took measures like, asking the assembly to reassemble after some time. Then finally he had no option. So the citizens of the countries are well informed that all the resistance were being shown by the treasury bench and also by the chair of the house. But the behavior which we saw, especially the TMC member who did body shaming of the vice president, will not be tolerated by citizens of this country, whether they are learned citizens or whether they are people who understand parliamentary affairs. But this kind of body shaming, this kind of mimicry. See, a good humor is always good. When you make a good humor and do things within the house and when there is laughter going on. But it is not good when you do this with an intention of, insulting somebody, insulting with somebody as a body shaming. So I think sense prevailed to the opposition, at least now, through your good office, through your channel, which has been largely been seen by everybody in this country. I would suggest if Kharge ji and the original president of Congress, Sonia ji, if both can hear us out here. So whether it is proxy president of Congress or whether it is original president of Congress, both of them should think this. It is not good to weaponize the tool of opposition. It is not good to make mockery. No, it is not good to display the bankruptcy of thoughts in the house and outside the house.
Okay, let me bring in Gautam Seth for a response to as well, Vinit, and also I know Manasvi, you want to come in as well. I'll just allow Gautam a quick word and then I'll come to you, Manasvi. Gautam, on your response, of course, to what Vinit has said, as well as also this charge that is leveled by the government that the chairs of both houses had no option but to suspend these MPs because they were left with no choice.
I think in today's parliamentary culture which has been brought in by this government, Ramesh Bidhuri and Sadhvi Pragya are the definition of cultured parliamentarians. Such kind of members of parliaments who use derogatory language to an extent that it should not be tolerated, no action is taken. It's absolutely all right. Why? Because they belong to the Bharatiya Janata Party. And the rules are absolutely different for the Bharatiya Janata Party. And the rules are absolutely different for the opposition. This never happened even during the Vajpayee ji's regime. I would like to quote Vajpayee ji's speech. वो कहते थे कि सत्ताधारी दल के ऊपर सवाल उठाना जो ऑपोजिशन है वो उसका काम ही है, और अगर ऑपोजिशन ये काम ना करे तो वो अपने काम में विफल है. तो ये तो इन्हीं के नेता वाजपेयी जी की मैंने आपको स्पीच में से 2 लाइनें उठाकर बताई. सुषमा स्वराज जी would raise her voice at every issue. There was no Dr. Manmohan Singh would answer everything. You tell me, if during the Congress regime such kind of a security breach would have happened in the Parliament of India, The BJP, would they have not forced the Home Minister to give a statement on it? What wrong did we do if we asked the Home Minister to give a statement on it? So the whole point is that you want to run a dictatorial rule. The institutions are on their knees. The constitution is totally in shambles. The parliamentary democracy culture is gone. It's the old days stock now. And you just want, in the will and whims and fancies of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah ji, will run the Parliament of India, will run the government of India, will run the discourse in this nation. We will not let that happen. And the people of this country are watching. Mind you, you're already out of the South. South has totally rejected you. The Congress stands at 40% in the North. And 2024 has big surprises for you to see.
Okay, let me, yes, Manasvi, you have a point as well. Go ahead.
Uday, I just wanted to add one more thing, that during the time when BJP was not in power, they I would not say they used disruption as a tool, but they promoted disruption, and we as citizens believed that the then people in power, the Congress, was not allowing BJP to make marks. And Arun Jaitley ji in January 2011 made a very good statement on disruption. At times it is needed to disrupt the parliament to save the democracy. And this is what, if that is applied right now, that turns out to be suspension. So BJP is not standing on its own ground of stalwarts, when like the greats of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, Sushma Swaraj ji, late Arun Jaitley ji, when these were the greatest disruptors, I would say, greatest disruptors in the democracy of this country, and raised very relevant points during that time. And I think when opposition is trying to ask a question on why was there a breach in parliament, they have the right to do that, but they don't have the right at the same time to mock the vice president. That is completely uncalled for. And if you are suspending someone because he is mocked, I think that could have been right, but the suspension is not for that reason. But if you're suspending someone to ask questions on Manipur, that is wrong. If you're suspending people, if they're asking why there was a breach of security in parliament, that is wrong. I think this is not going good for the BJP, and mocking is not going good for the Congress also. So BJP should come out and respect disruptions in terms of questions. BJP should respect, because in the past they have done that and people loved them. And BJP should have an open debate. They should not run out from debates. They should have an open discourse, and there should be healthy discussion should happen. This is the basics. I think the basics of parliament, the basics of democracy is to have a discussion. Let's go away from healthy discussion. Let's have a discussion. Right now, what we are seeing is bills are being passed without any discussion. Bills are being passed without any opposition. Bills are being passed without any debate. So this is not a healthy democracy. This could be healthy for BJP. This could be unhealthy for Congress. But in totality, it is not good for the democracy of this country, because bills are being passed without any discussions, without any debates, and disruptions in bills are the basics for this country, because we are the torchbearer of democracy, and we need to show to the people of the world that how democracies are also run. When we talk about ease of doing business, we should also create an ease of discussion in our parliament. This is the basics which we should show the world. And this kind of democracy, this kind of suspension and mockery should stop with folded hands. I would want to tell my parliamentarians that this is not healthy for our country. We should come on a common minimum understanding of how should we run a parliament. And this, I'm reiterating again, this should come out from BJP. Why? Because they are the big brother. They have the mandate. Any bill they want to pass into act, they have all the votes and numbers. They can pass it out very easily without any disruptions from because of lack of votes. But let's have a healthy discussion. Let's have a discussion on laws of this nation. Even if opposition is making noise, which may not be healthy for them, but let them have their voice. You should not take their voice away from them, because this is an elected voice. This is not a voice of people who are just there on the streets. These are the people who have been voted to power, so voted for the parliament. So let them have their voice. Let the people judge them. If they are good, they may stand good, they may be re-elected. If they're not good, if as per you they're anti-national, making statements which are not in the interest of the nation, they'll come out. People understand it very well in a digital understanding, in a 24/7 media. People are very sensible. So let them have a debate. Let opposition make their mockery if they don't stand as per the rules and understandings of democracy. So give them that basic right to debate. That's my only request.
So, totally 23 questions were asked by both the previous speakers. So let me try and answer each of them if I remember them, and if I forget, you can ask me. One question was which was raised, is it wrong to suspend? It was proclaimed that it was wrong to suspend for somebody to ask question. So my little correction to both the speakers is, it is incorrect statement. They were not suspended for asking question, whether it is Manipur or any other question, or demanding an explanation from the Home Minister. They were suspended because of their behavior, which was unbecoming of a member of Honorable Lok Sabha and Honorable Rajya Sabha. One. Two, people of the country would like to hear from the congressmen especially, if not from entire opposition, what is their position on the bills. If they have been suspended, they still have social media, they still have media, they can come and tell us what is their position. As they are bankrupt in the thoughts and policies, none of them have spoken anything about that particular bill. I have not seen a single healthy contribution in any bill in the last 9 years. Please tell me which bill they have contributed. Three, there was a blame that there is a dictatorial behavior. Let me correct them. This is the house which allowed discussion. This is the house which have taken back bills, which is the house which have where the bills have lapsed. I think I have heard Mulayam Singh ji, who is an ardent opposer, praising the Prime Minister. I have seen Ghulam Nabi Azad ji, a veteran congressman, who praised the Prime Minister. We have seen this kind of praises coming from people who have been there in the Parliament over decades. This is because the house means business. Third point, where there is an interaction with the member of Parliament outside and inside. We have seen the way the Trinamool member of Parliament have asked questions in turn of in reciprocation of cash which she received, and the behavior she has been done. So we have seen these kind of people who have done this for ulterior motives. My once again a request to all the members who are there on the debate right now, and all the congressmen who are watching this, is if you have any ideas on the bills, if you have policy inputs, why did you share on your social media handles at least? Let us know whether you have inputs. It's a total bankruptcy of thoughts on part of the Congress. Now, one more thing. One speaker before me, the Congress gentleman, would like to, he wanted to make a remark, saying that South has rejected you this year. My request to him is that you have divided his motherland into two parts. First in Hindustan and Pakistan, East and West Pakistan, and then later on which became Bangladesh. You have divided this country on the lines of religion. Then you took revenge and you also divided this society into Sikh and this thing. Don't divide this country
divide further.
South and North.
Don't divide further.
Rejected in the North, you will be rejected in the
Don't divide further. I think that's what the PM also.
Rejected anywhere and everywhere. See,
I think that's what the PM
was rejected even in the
has also indicated.
Hold parliamentary.
I think that's what the PM has also indicated in the office bearers meeting over the last couple of days. Gautam, please respond to that. But Gautam, also, the mimicry insult first. Then you had Hanuman Beniwal, who was an MP till not too long back. Now he's an MLA. He's a president of his own party. What kind of comments he made on Jagdeep Dhankar? Are these things appropriate for a constitutional post holder? And then you have the VP offering dialogue with these same elements who were mocking him. Gautam said, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost that connection with Gautam. It seems, Manasvi, why didn't you answer that? You can respond to Vineet's points. I think you were shaking your head earlier. But also, you know, the mockery insult, the other statements being made on the Vice President. This is not correct. He's also, of course, the chair of the House, but he's also the Vice President of India. Does the opposition forget that sometimes? And then this same Vice President offers talks. Who comes out looking bigger to the people of the country?
Yes, and in coming out bigger, I'll come to that part later on, but totally uncalled for. I would obviously say that we should not go so low as a country that we mock our Vice President. He may be from BJP, he may have a past from BJP, but end of the day, while he's sitting on the chair, he's the Vice President of India. He's not a Vice President of BJP. And even if he's a Vice President of BJP, we should not mock our leaders. We have grown up seeing Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, L.K. Advani ji, who has been Sushma Swaraj ji, who have been in opposition and they have not mocked. And we have also seen Congress in the past in opposition and they have not mocked our leaders. So let's be bigger than mocking. When Vineet ji says this, yes, he's right. Mocking should not happen. Yes, he's right to point out opposition while opposition is mocking the Vice President. That should not have happened. And when he's also saying that the divide part, I also agree on that part. Optically, it does not look good on the opposition or Congress while they try to say that there's a South versus North. There is nothing like that, and it should not be portrayed that way. Even if they try to do that, BJP is much bigger in taking out points out of them and create a network or a network of understanding wherein they can make this question against Congress. The South is not going to be unitedly fighting against the BJP. The BJP will use these statements to unite the vote base in the North and counter Congress. So that's not a very politically sound statement, I would say, for the Congress also, or for the opposition for that matter. Having said that, BJP does not have that right of proprietary when they say that as of now, because they have the likes of Ramesh Biduri with them. Where this proprietary come from? Vinay ji haven't spoken a word on Ramesh Biduri. He has not condemned his statement also. As an observer of democracy, as an observer of this big, great temple of democracy, I would say that's a shameful statement, not only in parliament, but also for BJP. BJP, which is the largest party of the world, BJP, which is an aspirational party of the world, is a party of the greatest leader of this country, like Narendra Modi ji. A MP is making a statement like of which we cannot even speak in your live debate. Making a statement like this should be condemned. Why is Vinay ji not condemning it? Why isn't he suspended? Is it a great statement? Is it a statement of the world that the world should look out for? No, that's a disgraceful statement in a democracy of India. So why isn't that been condemned by any member of BJP? That's also a very large question, and that's a very simple question. Okay. Udayji, I want to ask this direct question, not 23 questions plus 21 plus one more to 24. Just one question: was the statement made by Ramesh Biduri a good statement for democracy, and BJP condemns it, or Vinay ji condemns it or not? A simple question.
Run completely out of time. My thanks to all of our guests for joining. You want to respond, Vineet? Okay. That is, we've run completely out of time, so we're going to have to interrupt this discussion, but we will of course keep our focus on this. Remember, that offer is still on for tomorrow. Let's see if Mr. Kharge takes it up or not. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.